Well, many of you know that the game of chess takes a lot of patience, forethought, and planning, attributes you don't usually associate with 12-year-olds. But Fredericton's Cynthia Cui is working on those skills. She is one of the top female chess players in her age group in the country, and she's going to the World Championship for Chess next month in Greece. The young prodigy is being trained by a former Fredericton chess phenom, Robert Hamilton. Hamilton won more than 100 national and international events during his career. They both joined me in the studio. Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm relieved you don't have a chessboard with you. Cynthia, when did you start playing chess?
In grade 2, I learned with an after-school teacher, and me and my brother, we really enjoyed it, so we kind of played chess at home too, so that's kind of how I started playing chess. And then we went to the provincial chess tournaments in Moncton. That was the first one I went to, and well, I didn't really know how to move the pieces and anything, and I still scored like halfway, so 2.5 out of 5. So that's kind of my beginning of chess.
And when did you realize that? When did you start taking it really seriously?
In grade 3, I actually won first in the provincials. So that's when I kind of started taking it seriously and just like focusing on it more and like actually playing seriously instead of just for fun.
How many games would you play in a week?
Maybe one a day, and occasionally me and my brother just, play some over the board and against my coach, Robert.
Right. And do you learn something every game you play?
Most of them, unless, like, my brother makes this really bad mistake, or my opponent makes like, just hanging a queen or hanging a rook, then no.
Do you do anything other than just sitting down at the board to increase your understanding, your strategic understanding?
I read a lot of books regarding chess, and I also do some practice puzzles.
What is it about chess that appeals to you?
I don't think that you can actually solve chess, so it's kind of fun to see how, like, you can try to win it, and because you can never solve chess. There's too many possibilities on the board, and I kind of just want to like try to beat the player I'm playing, and because all the players that I'm usually playing are much older than me, so it's really fun to like sit down, beat them, and then have them go away and cry.
How many moves does it take for you to be able to tell whether your opponent has a chance of beating you?
Usually 20 or 30. It depends.
And how important is the ability to adapt to what your opponent is throwing at you?
I think it's really important, because if they're let's just say they're kind of like a player like me, so I'm just kind of like defending everything, then you kind of have to adapt to like trying to open up the position and get them out of their comfort zone. But if you were playing kind of like a tactical player, like, then you have to I guess you just have to adapt to trying to like focus on all the tactics instead of like closing the board up and just giving them chance to attack you and stuff like that.
Robert, I'm going to bring you in here in a second, but Cynthia, you're going to the World Championship. How big a deal is that for you?
That's a really big deal for me, because, it's the first international event that I've been to, and all of those players, their rating, like, is really, like, a lot of them are, like, above 2,000, so, and I'm unrated in FIDE, so it's pretty big.
How do you handle defeat?
Whenever I lose, I look over the game really carefully, either with Robert or Leo, and sometimes I just do it alone and maybe with an engine if I really can't find anything. But I don't really take it too hard, because if I lose, then that means that the player is better than me, so I can learn stuff from them. So that's how I handle defeat.
That's a really good approach. How far do you want to go in chess?
Maybe a title and like FIDE master. You have that, or candidate master, national master, just like 2200 maybe.
I see you're wearing a fast swimming jacket. Beyond chess, are you also a swimmer? Competitive swimmer?
Yeah.
Wow, you're pretty busy.
Actually, I'm not that busy because I don't even have to do homework at home, so...
No surprise there. None at all. Robert, let me just ask you from a coaching perspective, when you and Cynthia were introduced to each other, how long did it take you to appreciate that this was someone that you wanted to spend time with, that you wanted to coach?
Well, I knew right away that Cynthia and her brother Leo, also who's very strong, were two players that could easily, if they put in the work, could become two of the best in Canada for their age, if not beyond.
Putting in the work, what does that entail?
A lot more than I think Cynthia said, because your question about how many games she plays a week is a really normal question to ask. But an awful lot of what she does is homework, like voluminous amounts of study, and playing on other kinds, playing in the internet, reviewing things through computer databases. I mean, Cynthia's put thousands of hours of study into chess, and my role is to guide her and make sure that what she's looking at is the right thing that she should be looking at, given what her strength is now in terms of that and where she can go with it.
How far could she go?
She could go a lot further than she just told you. Cynthia has the ability to become the best female player in Canada's history, in my opinion.
Wow. How does that make you feel hearing those words?
I think that's going to take a few years and a lot of study.
Well, you're only 12. I mean, you've got a lifetime ahead of you.
Yeah, I guess.
I want to ask you, too, about you're going to play 16 players at once. What is the significance of doing something like that? That's a promotional thing, but have you ever played that many people at once before?
No.
Okay, so when you look at the board, when you look at, when I look at a chessboard, I see a bunch of pieces and a couple of random moves. But when you look at a chessboard, what do you see?
I see combinations sometimes, and other times I just see ways to improve my position.
Okay.
She sees patterns. So her eyes can hit the board immediately, and she can see something 3 or 4 moves ahead that a person that wasn't that experienced, that sounds that's strange to say about 12-year-olds.
I understand.
Would have to sit there and figure out. So you might have to sit there, Terry, and look at it and say, wait, now if I go there and she goes there,
right?
Her eyes hit the board and see it immediately.
That's a spatial gift.
It's hard work, yeah, and a spatial gift, but it comes from all her experience as well.
And that's what the best players have.
Yeah, every single one of them. Yeah.
Are you an aggressive player?
No, definitely not.
Oh, really?
No, that's one of her weaknesses we're trying to work on.
That's my brother's strength. So we have opposite personalities. So.
Okay, so if you had to describe your technique in a couple of words, then what would your technique be?
Slow, boring, weird.
So in terms of an outcome, what are you hoping for?
I want to finish in the top half, definitely, and I want to have my final score to be above 5.5.
You want a ranking?
Not necessarily.
Okay, what's your goal going into Greece?
I think she gave a really good description of what's a reasonable outcome, and I haven't put pressure on her, but there's going to be several thousand players from about 200 countries there. And what Cynthia's saying is, look, this is my first time there. I'm coming all the way from Fredericton, where it's hard enough to get a chance to play anyone. If I can finish in the top half in that event, then that's not a bad result for a first time. And I think that's a very fair goal.
So thank you so much for coming in. Pleasure to see you both.
Thank you.
That was 12-year-old chess player Cynthia Cui and her coach Robert Hamilton. Cynthia will be going to the World Chess Championships in Greece in October. Now, on Saturday at 3 p.m. at Bliss Carman Middle School, Cynthia is going to be playing 16 different chess players at once, including some of the top high school chess players in the city. So if you like to sit at a chessboard and give your brain a workout and you'd like to take Cynthia on, you're welcome to drop into Bliss Carman Middle School Saturday at 3 p.m.